Really want to hammer this one out. We need to get this one out of the way and move on.
Oh God.
What are you hammering out?
Whatever God puts in front of me. I just press random on Pornhub and just see what rolls, baby.
Sorry, I think I might be in the wrong chat group here. Sorry, fellas. I thought this was my other Sunday night group. Sorry, boys.
If he is here, who is feeding Cerberus? It's Steve Portenegger! Wish you to, brother, he's begging you to. It's Rob Schwarzenegger! And Hercules bruised 2 of my ribs, and I think I've lost my girlfriend to him, I don't know. Gary Sweaty Joggers! And tonight, on All the Arnies, we bring you part 2 of Hercules in New York.
But what happened? I don't know. I could not lift it. My strength, it seemed to work on.
Allow me to break the ice.
Drop dead!
I don't do requests. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Prime laps with your 4 wins.
Enough talk.
Don't bullshit me. Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you. And hear the lamentation of their women.
Gentlemen, there's something I want to get off my chest.
Please do, please do.
We said some things that were quite mean in the last...
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
What do you think, Rob?
I think we were totally justified.
I think justified.
I think given another opportunity, I'd do it again.
Well, luckily you have that opportunity now.
If anything, I don't think we were harsh enough about a man who clearly made a career off doing an accent. Like, you as an Irishman should be offended by that because so many Irish comedians have done the same thing.
Wow. The gloves are off tonight, aren't they? Bloody hell.
Are you going to be even more savage than you were when you said you'd fight Pretzi for no money? Oh, this will be good. This will be good.
Yeah. I mean, let's see what my limit is. But so far, you just keep pushing me. I'm just going to keep figuring out something else to pin on him.
I'd like to offer an apology to the actors for this reason. I think they were directed that way. We said they were awful, and I want to offer an apology to the writer and the director because this is what they wanted to do. This is the way they wanted to make the film. It wasn't a lack of ability. Just fuck it. Let's do this. Let's have car horns everywhere.
That is fair. It wasn't a style choice, was it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a sort of campy action romp through Central Park, isn't it? You know, it's like it is what it was designed to be, isn't it? Okay, well, they could have worked on the sound editing, or you know, a couple of shots that are out of focus or whatever. They could have worked on that.
Well, this is I have to partially agree with you. I think fair enough. The writers can't be blamed for what happened, and I want to come back into it in a bit when we get to a certain scene in particular where I'm just suddenly like my mind was illuminated into the fact that maybe the writers aren't all bad, but. And you'll be surprised which scene. It's not the scene you think. But what I was going to say is that like you can be as like apologetic about the actors and the writing as you want, and it isn't as good. But at the end of the day, I just think, you know, like the writing itself, like even the scenes that were there that were left behind, some of them were good. Some of them would have probably been better if it had more of a budget. But some of them were trash, and that shouldn't be excused. Everything in Olympus was trash.
Yeah.
It was like it was awful.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. It's still not a good film, but I think they were doing what they were trying to do, but they didn't make a good film. But I thought we were a wee bit harsh on it, saying that everybody had no ability.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think we didn't really make it clear that we don't hate Arnie. Maybe you do actually, Rob. Now after listening to this,
should I just become the antagonist?
I don't hate Arnie. I'm a big Arnie fan. It's not the best of films, but. You know, he was like 20 years of age or whatever, and not an actor.
If you put it in the context of he couldn't speak the language, I think.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
This is how harsh I thought we were on him. I was mocking him as well. Well, he said some difficult words in English, and I tried to say them in German, of course, which is what Austrians speak, of course. And I I fucked it up badly. Like,
Can you give us an example of what one of the words was in German?
Words like insolence, I couldn't even get. It began with a B. That's as close as I could get. I recognize.
What is it?
Yeah, I didn't even recognize all of the letters. Insolence. Who is this imitator? He's going, oh, I can't say it in German.
He doesn't even look like me, does he? Ha! Not an actor. Not at the time. Not an actor, but he was doing his best.
Yeah, the other guy I want to apologise to is Pretzi because he's dead.
No. Is he?
R.I.P.
Oh, goddamn.
But anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
I set up a thing on Facebook for all our listeners to join in with the conversation. So I was going to call this the mailbag section, and nobody wrote a single thing. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants in yet. I misjudged that one.
Hey, look. I was going to tell you, I'm going to download Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography because I've always been like a big fan of the guy, and you know he's a big symbol of perseverance. And if anything, it wouldn't be in fitting with Arnie's legacy if you didn't persevere in the face of.
Absolutely, Arnie wouldn't quit.
No, he wouldn't. Arnie broke out of military to go and bodybuild. Like he literally like risked treasonous acts against things just to go and like lift some heavy stuff. So you post it, man. I'm fine. We can ask you questions if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should make that the motto. When things are going shit, Arnie wouldn't quit. And that's going to be the driving force behind the rest of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I'm going to get it tattooed on my shoulder blades in German.
But at some point, guys, I guess we're going to have to get back into the film. When we were last, when we were last together, we got to the sports track. Arnie been dragged through the woods by Pretzi. Pretzi seems to think he's stronger than Arnie, I think, but he's not. So what we've got at the sports track, we've got Helen Camden and Professor Camden walking up to watch some young athletes play.
Oh yeah.
And I have a question about this. What kind of a relationship is this? It seems far too touchy.
It's a bit weird. Yeah. And there's the bit where he says, oh, here's our card.
Yeah.
Like, it's not his card. It's not my daughter's card. It's our card.
Well,
like, what sort of father-daughter combination have?
She's attracted to power and being dominated by a man. And watching true strength. I genuinely like. So can we all agree that this scene was pretty much like when the writer was sat there in the bathtub and he was thinking about what to write, and he was like, geez, I gotta write myself a movie. I'll just go straight to the Olympus. And he was like, what am I gonna do? And he's like, Hercules. No one's ever done that before. And then he goes, what would Hercules do? I know, discus in Central Park. And like that's it. And like this is what the scene that the entire film was built around. Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe yeah. Well, I think
this has to be it.
It was just like taking his shirt off because that's all they had was just the sort of Arnie's
where he just hangs peck.
Mr. Universe. So like, okay, he needs to start throwing.
I think this was
because that's Greek as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like, the only surprising thing is that they didn't smash any plates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or ruin any worldwide economies, just like while they're there.
That would have been great. Like he finishes his lunch, like when they're buying lunch and that, and he just hurls his plate into the ground. The pavement was its enemy. What did I do?
Then he fights another 6 people.
This is again. You know when I said, do you know when I said I was like, oh, you think the writers actually had loftier ambitions for the film? I genuinely think the professor is a perfect example of it because I mean, if you just go through in your head, and we'll go through it now. Genuinely, what does this character do apart from look wistfully off in the distance and talk about like Hercules?
He doesn't do a lot. Is he supposed to be a professor of history or something?
Exactly. I think he had his part cut. I think they must have written a massive thing, and like he was supposed to like figure out he was Hercules and be like, you're going to help me unlock the history of Greek like culture, and he was supposed to be like a storyline, and they went, nah, get rid. Arnie's in it. So now Arnie's going to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually got a theory about the professor. I think he's an intruder. I don't think he's a professor at all. He's an imitator, and as we go through the film, I'm going to point out more and more times. I'm going to point out more and more times when I think he's trying to give the impression of being an intelligent man when he's not. I think he just smokes a pipe. Also, he smokes his
he
pipe
just
directly into his daughter's face. Like, there's not an inch between her nostril hair and that pipe in that field. Just straight up her nose. He may as well not just blow it out. Just straight up her nose. He's a horrible father and he's a fraud of an academic.
Yeah. Just like gaslighting this.
Yeah, so he's a very perverty man. Yeah, he is. It's
sick.
He's very perverted, and then he goes straight over to the clearly like mentally ill man who's sat next to the very big man at the end of it and says, "Here's our card. I've only met you for all of 30 seconds. You're clearly a bug-eyed weirdo. I want you to come to my house. Can you please bring your lumbering oaf with you? Like, is that possible?" The man is clearly deranged. Like, because
you had a hard week, Rob. You've been a bit harsh here. I thought we were moving off.
I hate the children. I hate them all.
I am also not keen on the professor. But I like the actor himself. He manages. I think he manages to put a bit of sexiness in everything he does. Yeah, that made me think that the actor is a very sexy man. His name's James Karen, and he's been in a lot of things that you guys will have heard of. He's been in.
Yeah, he was in Return of the Living Dead, wasn't he? And,
yeah. Congo, Nixon.
Congo,
yeah. Behind Enemy Lines, At Pupil, Any Given Sunday, Superman Returns, Pursuit of Happiness. But he also did a number of...
Whoa, wait a minute. What was he in Superman?
He was Superman.
You've hit onto my mastermind subject here. What the hell was he in Superman?
I don't know. Never watched it. Superman Returns.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's the bad one, but like...
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But he's done a number of other films, which I think that some of his films, if they're not gay porn,
where are you going with this?
I'm going to direct gay porn, and I'm going to name all my films these things. But tell me if you think these are from films for homosexual men for their pleasure. Something for Joey. That's a bit hit and miss, that one. The Gathering. But I was thinking that could be like one of those bukkake parties.
Gangbang.
Oh yeah. Yeah, gangbang. This next one's a little bit less. There's a little bit less grey area in this one. FIST, it's called. I think.
So wait, is that actually what?
That's its name, FIST. I think that's for the more extreme end. Yeah.
Oh my god.
His next film rating was Take This Job and Shove It. Harder Bodies 2. The Billionaires Boys Club. And then his last one was a film.
Oh God!
His last film was a film called The Willies. So I could use any of them in my gay porn movies that I'm going to make.
Yeah, The Billionaires Boys Club is 100% evidence in like that a trial. Like this is the film that he claimed, and it was just the VHS was titled Billionaires Boys Club. Like it was the bit of evidence that was taken out of case. Like wasn't it? Like it absolutely had to be.
All right.
Okay, so Arnie takes his shirt off to throw the discus.
And that's just the start of Hard Bodies too. Yeah.
And Arnie carries on with the tradition of getting started on. Like again, this is like the 5th time since he's landed on Earth that someone has started a fight with him. The 4th time even that someone started a fight with him. He's like, you are throwing it wrong, and he's like, no, we're not. He's like, yes, you are. And he's like, you want to fight about it? Like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah, it's hilarious. These guys, they just can't believe that Arnie would be capable of throwing a discus really far, despite the fact he's twice their size. Okay, the long jump. I don't believe he could do the long jump. But it's very cleverly edited to make us think.
Yeah. I don't think Arnie believed he could do the long jump until he did it, like, and saw it on screen, and he was like, "Oh my god, I'm so good."
Is the key to that long jump editing scene?
Discuss.
Is it having people looking up in the air for a really long time, and moving their heads from left to right very slowly?
And the director's like, "No, look farther away. It's going really far. Look higher."
He didn't jump far. He just hung in the air for a really long time. But it was like 5 feet.
I don't think he did jump. I can't believe that he can jump. There's a bit you see him running later in the film, and it's like a toddler learning to walk. Like he's just so massive, he can't actually run.
I know what you mean. Like Pretzi looks like he can outrun him, and considering Pretzi is like an amorphous blob of a human. You started this. You shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have said we should apologise to him. I'm not backing down. if he wanted to become a Hollywood actor, he should have done some like weight training. You can't stand that guy. He's not a Danny DeVito character. He's not pitiful enough. He's got less talent. Like,
bringing Danny DeVito into this now.
Well, because you have to put like for some reason. No, because for some reason I love Danny DeVito, but you've got to put like this like huge hunk guy next to a little tub of a troll man. Like that's just like the thing you do. Pretzi was the first one. He was the pre-DeVito. You boys might have missed this because you didn't get the dubbed version, but the dubbed version was fabulous because you could tell that the guy got brought in. And he was clearly said, like, this is the film, you're going to watch the film of Arnie, and you just have to say the lines, like, we've written down over what he's speaking, but try and make sure the lips sync. And he's like, okay, that's fine, I can do that, in his perfect, like, received pronunciation. And he's like, I will be able to do that, sir, yes. And then, like, he sits there, and then Arnie, when he gets to the thing, he starts saying to Pretzi, like, look at these guys, they cannot throw. And he goes, they're pretty good. And he's like, ha. And he makes like a hat noise. Oh, yeah. And he's clearly laughing. And he does those 3 lines. Now, for you, it might have just been completely like you've already subversed to the Arnie chat because you've been listening to it undubbed. What I got was instead clearly a man trying to fit the mouth of a man who he couldn't figure out what he was trying to say. So just came out like a robot, text to speech.
What you've got there is the voice of a trained actor trying to not act. To unact his way through that scene in order to provide the correct voiceover. Like it is.
He's like, excuse me, sorry, I'm just checking the line. It says here in brackets on the script, laughter, but I mean, when I'm looking at what this man's doing, it doesn't look like he's laughing. Like, did he? Can I hear the original? Yeah, no, it doesn't sound like he's laughing, and yet I don't know how I'm supposed to. Just go with it. Just anything you want. Yeah, just fit it on. Like just anything.
There's a great bit as well where Arnie is like forgetting his line or he's struggling with the line, you know, and Pretzi says something like, "Oh, you know, where are you going?" And he just says, "Going to show those guys how to throw the discus." Like you're that wound up about it, you're going to step in there and do it, but you can't remember what it is, the name of the thing that they're throwing.
Oh, that's cute. That is cute.
Yeah,
I wish I got that one.
It's nice. It's good. You should watch the
yeah.
And you know what? No, you should never watch this.
Yeah, I'm not watching it again. It's not happening.
Don't do it.
I might watch the next scene after this, but yeah. So then he throws the discus really far. He throws the thingy really far. He meets the girl's boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Who shockingly enough is the only smart one, and yet later on he says, let's not start a fight with him at the park, but then when he eventually comes back to the apartment
I think this big guy's weakness is in closed spaces. Let's get him somewhere where he can't swing his arms.
Grabbing reach of him.
I think that the coach is very lucky that he met Arnie and Hercules. If he'd have met Arnie in Raw Deal, Arnie would have thrown him and thrown the discus at him while he was flying through the air.
Catch that.
This matter is not up for discussion. Thanks. Oh my god. Wasn't that good?
Let's go.
I have a question for you guys. You guys, Steve, you're the coach. You're the coach in this scene. Someone of Arnie's size walks onto your field. Mm-hmm. You're determined that your guys must win. What activity do you choose to compete against Arnold Schwarzenegger at?
Just a 100-meter sprint.
Yeah, just picking ones of throwing things. That would have been my last call.
It's not going to be push-ups, is it?
Yeah. I challenge you. Hey there, you big guy. I challenge you to the 100-meter English speaking.
I would have challenged them to, you know those assault courses that dogs have where there's tubes? I'd have gone through a tube. If you can get through, he wouldn't have fitted through that tube after me, and we would have won. I don't think this coach is a very good coach.
No. Maybe the long jump. Yeah, you're not throwing anything, not lifting anything, not arm wrestling, you know.
Yeah,
nothing like that.
I've got
his legs are still defined. You wouldn't even like risk him with like just like calf. Anyway, sorry, go on. You just don't. You just wouldn't is the answer. You just wouldn't challenge him.
I think I might have something that could turn into a feature. We'll see what you guys think. I think this is a legitimate time for Arnie to take his shirt off.
Well, yeah, I agree. I was actually thinking this as well on the drive to work on Monday through Friday.
What?
Specifically, Arnie taking his shirt off in this film has it ever been as graceful? We'll never know. But I think a genuine rating system that we should have, at least one of them, should be always like, how well does he hang peck? Like how good is he's dropping that ab? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it?
So you're making it sound like we're judging a bodybuilding, which is not
to
too
an
far
extent
from
we are.
the mark. Which is what Arnie would have liked.
Yeah, just a second, Steve. Let him keep talking, because these are all going to be names for my gay porn films, including one he said earlier, which was "Man Fits in Man's Mouth," which I think is going to get me a lot of money.
What?
You keep going, Rob. I've got a whole career built around everything you say here.
It has to be mammary something, because it's all about the pecs.
This is kind of unusual.
I like it. It's good.
I didn't want to bring this. I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to say it because I think it's relevant. Which was, Hannah was sitting looking at me. Hannah's my girlfriend. She was sitting looking at me and going, "What are you thinking about?" Because it looked like it was in a daze watching this scene. I said, I'll tell you honestly, what I'm thinking about is driving micro machines over Arnold Schwarzenegger's front.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I agree with you.
I
often
we were making
think
a film
like,
review here, lads. Like, where's this going?
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
no, I just sometimes you just want to think like, oh God, look at how oily he is. Like, wouldn't it be nice to just I don't know, touch it, or like, put stuff on it, or like, God, yeah, like I just want to. They look so hard, but I bet they're soft on the outside, like where the skin is. I just want to touch it.
Hang on, wait a second.
Is this
Rob,
not
writing that one down? That's going to be a sequel.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
timestamp that. Is this not when Roger Ebert came to his friend and said, "Let's go"? I always forget his friend's name because he's the less important one. But when Roger Ebert came to his friend and said, "Let's start a film review situation," did his friend not say to him directly, "Oh, we're going to talk about men's tits"? and did Roger Ebert say no? And were they not both disappointed?
Maybe.
Well, I don't
know.
I think maybe we've given Arnie's pecs enough coverage for this scene.
Oh yeah, so then he goes to dinner.
And they got in that film anyway. That's the bloody show.
Yeah.
I'm unapologetic. Going to talk about his tits every scene now. You got to create more antagonism.
Another thing was when he done his flex pecs in it. His pecs flex, excuse me. They played bongos over it. Dung, 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 as he flexes pecs. Yeah. I thought it just brought me back down to ground with this is supposed to be a silly film.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's a good scene. The whole scene really, like I really like this scene. Like in terms of the film as well, like everything up to this point felt like a fever dream. Like it was just lots of random scenes with little kind of bits of transition in between, but not much. And like it felt like everything was building up to this scene, and like this was the first one they'd done, and they just had to rush to get there. And then once he's in New York, it does kind of start to slow down a bit. But everything up to this, like, was really quick, and I struggled to keep track, and a lot of madness.
Are you saying this film starts to drag once Hercules gets to New York? Because
genuinely, yeah, I think it does. Yeah, I
should have ramped
Hercules
up
in Olympus, just trying to fight the rampant traffic problem. No, I really do think like that all those starting scenes you can talk about them in depth because they're just so separate from the film. They're not real. Like you're not talking about the story because there is none. It's like he fights some guys on a ship. He pushes a plank at a guy. He knocks over a taxi. He throws a discus. Like it's just like singular scenes.
That's a good point actually. He's already pushed a taxi over when he starts throwing that discus around. So
yeah,
we know he's strong.
No, Pretty's thinking I'm going to make some goddamn money out of this, which is like
college guys. Have you not just seen me fight 6 men, flip a car, hold on to a forklift truck, and you're doubting me?
Yeah,
Christ, you need to. He really needs to get that prescription looked at for those glasses, man. It's just
yeah. He needs to get off the wacky backy for his friggin' glaucoma. That's what he needs to get off. He's just sat there like...
Pretty drinks a lot. That's something I hadn't thought of now, but we see him hit the bottle quite hard in this film. Maybe he's constantly drinking. Just can't make good judgments.
If I look like that, I would be too.
This film does make you want to drink heavily, in fairness.
Yeah, it does, and it does help when you're drinking.
That's because you two guys, you reckon that the coach is fucked up here? This is a bit of a bad mood from the coach's part. Because he's just sent his whole team out to be humiliated by one guy.
No, I think he's just sitting there going like, job's well done. I've done my job. Instilling confidence.
Jesus
just
Christ.
one final thing before we move on.
Okay, what was the question again?
$50 is a lot of money to bet on a long jump in a park. Do you think like that's 25 cab rides from a dock to Central Park? I think Pretzi's being a little bit reckless here for a guy who's got none of the stake to stump up.
Maybe, or maybe he just knows that Arnie can just battle his way out of debts and taxi fares.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's it. He's just
That's it.
banking on Arnie beating the crap out of everyone around him.
Or they could just both like shuffle through the forest of Central Park and get away again. Like that seems to be like they just shuffled away from every fight. Maybe they just think, I've already ran away from 2 today. What's a third?
Yeah, that's it. He's more savvy than he looks.
Yeah. He's a swindler. He's a little
When
criminal.
when you're playing baseball, and you are hot, like you just swing for anything. So he's already ran from two criminal activities, and he's now at a third. And he's like,
Fucking in for a penny, in for a pound.
I'm gonna try and make a quick buck out of this huge idiot. Like, and he does.
He's a criminal, and then later on he gets out of his depth with the mob, and we're supposed to feel sorry for him.
And then he never has a redemption as well. He never has his redemption. He just basically sells his friend out, and they never have a conversation. It's just never mentioned again. Anyway, yeah, because he's an awful character played by an awful human. So.
Jesus,
where's he buried? Where's he buried? I want to go out there and dance on his grave. Got my tap shoes ready. Polish for some grave dancing. I hope Arthur Strong's
So he goes to they go to the professor's office, and they go to the professor's office, but with a suit that Hercules obviously was carrying between both butt cheeks, and like because he's suddenly wearing a suit, and like Pretty's all like, you gotta be on your best behavior, and he picks up that God's book and then steals it.
Another crime, Rob. Another crime.
Yeah. And then steals it. He's just like, hey, look at this. This might be worth a lot of money. Back pocket, thank you very much. And then like gives a knowing glance to Arnold, while Arnold begins like 70s creepiness.
Yeah. Is this
everyone's a bit 70s creepy?
Is this technically burglary? Stealing that book from somebody's house? And also, this isn't a library. That's the shittest library ever. Oh, they'll be through in the library. He's got like 9 books. That's not a library of any kind of measure.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's almost as if they didn't have the money for the set. They just went to the cameraman's house.
It's almost as if this professor is a fraud. I don't think he's a learned.
He's an imposter.
Starting to think maybe you're right. He's an imposter. Sorry, lads. It's probably a bad moment to jump in. I'm just going to have to go to the toilet quickly.
That's
we can edit that out.
Yeah, we can.
Sorry, lads. 2 seconds. I'll be back.
Okay.
I like that you've brought up the Pretzi's criminality, because I've noted that too. And what I've marked him as doing is it is very upsetting. You're right, Rob. Can we pretend that your daughter's Steve while he's at the toilet?
No, sorry. I just yeah. We can pretend she's Steve if you want. She keeps doing this thing now where she sounds like she's choking when she's not, so it freaks me out. And I rush over. I'm like, "What's happening?" And she's like, "Psych." And it's like, why? Like of all the things to freak me out about, like don't make the sound of choking.
You know what, dude? It's never going to stop being funny when a Geordie says "psych." It'll never stop being funny.
Oh, and then she goes and gets the poopa scooper. Roller coaster.
Me eyes! I got paintball in me eyes.
This bloody biker growth.
Sorry, we'll cut that out.
Have you come up?
You just came back to the rampant racism.
I thought I'd come back to your idea of a sequel to Hercules in New York. Is it Hercules in Newcastle or something?
Oh my god!
That would be brilliant.
You'd have such a good time. They would never notice him, like topless all the time, walking around, barely intelligible.
What? Oh.
Making friends with bug-eyed criminals. Like I know 4 of them. Genius.
Okay.
Fucking genius. And we must go to Bijou. We're in should we skip the office? Like, should we all we have to learn from the office is like Arnold Schwarzenegger vaguely threatens a woman with like very rapey sentences, then fights her boyfriend, and then immediately afterwards
that's one of the best ones.
Her dad talks her into going out on a date with him again.
Oh yeah, disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like, you will see him again, won't you? Because I'm fascinated by him. and she goes, yes, even though she's just seen her boyfriend brutally beaten up by him.
You have struck Hercules. That's one of my favourite Arnie lines, I think, not just in this film, but ever.
Is he your lover?
It's not natural. But,
it's very 1970s, isn't it? It's like, it's not natural. It's like, actually, in the Greek period, it would be unnatural for you to be attracted to women, and yet here you are.
I didn't think it was a pertinent question until maybe 10 minutes after this scene, whenever she's agreed to go out on a date with him, and I go, well, was he your boyfriend? Like, were you lovers? Because you walked in holding his hand, and earlier on you were talking about him being neglectful. But obviously he's easily replaced. Maybe he deserves.
This is why I think they cut things out. This is why I think they cut out the scene, and I think they added in the scene about the wrestling, and then they added in everything about wrestling because it kind of comes out of nowhere. And I think they cut like the professor and her storyline, and I think it was going to be at least like some vague rom-com, which like you can kind of see, kind of like what's that film with Amy Adams, but she plays the princess from the animated world, and she comes to the real world and she meets a normal person. And they basically fall in love. Was it Enchanted?
I don't know that one.
I think it's
Arnie
Enchanted.
in it? I don't remember that.
Yeah, Arnie plays Amy Adams. He plays the Disney princess.
I've never heard of it, Steve. It must be a Sylvester Stallone film or something.
Yeah.
You boys need to watch more Amy Adams films. That's all I'm saying. Because she's an icon.
Is she a bodybuilder? I don't even know who she is.
She is a national treasure.
What
was it? Anyway, it's like that where I think they were just going to have her like be the human contact for him, and then he was going to like do stuff with the professor. But then they get rid of that.
You've got to have a bit of romance in there, and then have a professor. Is he an ancient history professor or something? Is he going to gradually realise that Hercules is who he believes he is, and not just some
and at least there's some kind of conflict, and then in the typical like heroic story of hero is impetuous, leaves home, finds a mentor in Pretzi, in like that circle, and then
but they just gave up on it and thought, you know what, none of us have got the time or the energy for this. Let's just get some more bodybuilders in.
No, I think they reverse engineered from Arnie. I think they were going to make the film, and then I think they were going to make the film normally, and they had the script, and they went, right, Arnie's in it now, so he needs to wrestle. And then they were like, well, and he needs to discus throw, so that's pretty much built for him. So everything else is expendable, and they were like, okay.
We've got Schwarzenegger in this now. We need less dialogue, more body oil. Roll them.
More micro machines.
Let's get cracking. More micro machines.
More micro machines across the pecs. Can you hear?
That's a very weird image, lads. That I'm finding difficult to erase from my brain.
It might. I'm not sure if it'll ruin Arnold Schwarzenegger films or micro machines for you. Possibly both.
Definitely.
It ruins neither. It makes both of them sexy for me.
Coming up next is the date, and the only thing I have to add about the scene in the library is that Rod turns to violence very quickly, and it's not a good move in his part.
Very angry young man.
Hey, you watch your talk.
I cannot watch it.
Everyone does. Everyone does. Like they're all like they're honestly, everyone in New York at this time period, like the water must have been doused in PCP because they're all ready to fight.
It's like
they're
just little
ready.
man syndrome, just like these guys, they just see Arnie and they just want to fight him right away.
Well, that's fine for New Yorkers, but if I see Arnie, I'm going the opposite direction, or I'm doing a pretzi and making friends with that man.
Yeah.
It's a 70s, man. It's just toxic masculinity all round.
And they'll blame Arnie for that as well because he's got the pecs, but really, like it's all of their fault.
Absolutely.
Just because.
Yeah, I had a little bit of sympathy for Arnie in this, and by this scene I was going, hey, watch your talk, And he's got, but everybody is talking in fucking riddles. Nobody says anything they mean. Bucks, dough, what the fuck? Just ask for fucking money.
All I want to do is speak to these lovely women and throw discus. And everyone is trying to fight me.
You remind me of a goddess. Hey, don't talk to dames like that. It's disrespectful. You can't go talking to broads like that. Oh, what's a broad? God, you people are fucking hard work. Why couldn't they have gone to like fucking Hertfordshire or something? Why'd they have to come to New York?
Or Newcastle. You'd have had a much better time in the 70s in Newcastle. It would have just been him, Jimmy Nail, and rampant deindustrialization. That's about it. Like,
plenty of broads you can pay tribute to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Get himself down the big market. So you look like a goddess. EY pet, you can take me home then.
I might go to Newcastle myself.
Oh,
it sounds like a lot of fun.
I've been waiting for this bit. I just have to say, I've been waiting for this bit.
The day.
So long.
So, Rob, why don't you take the lead here?
So he goes on a date in a chariot with.
Oh yeah. When it's like day 1 minute and night the next.
Yeah.
Oh,
and again, in another scene of they clearly didn't have the budget for this. They were going to. Zeus finds out that he's went down there and he's starting fights, and Zeus says, "Well, we must do something about this. I'll look into my crystal ball and wave my hand or do something." I can't remember what he does now. And he starts to create the trials of Hercules. And so you think, oh, well, it must be a lion. And then it goes through the zoo, and it goes past the lion. And this is like cutting in between the zoo and Hercules on the date. And you're like, something's happening. It's getting built up. Like, something is going to happen here. And Hercules is trying to hear about absolute nonsense. To the point, I can't remember what they were talking about. It's like clear, bad first date on Tinder crack. Like, they're probably asking each other like what uni they went to because they have nothing else to talk about. And eventually, like, you hear a roar from the zoo, and
it's a bloke in a bear costume wandering about Central Park at night.
It's a bloke in a bear costume because they couldn't afford the lion, and the man on all fours.
I reckon it was the professor in that costume just prowling in the middle of the night,
just desperately trying to get beaten up by Hercules because it's his sexual fantasy.
He'd moved on to the micro machines, and it was bear costume and getting beaten up. Oh my god! Yeah, the scene is meaningless.
The guy comes out in the bear costume because a bear can walk vaguely like a human, and they couldn't afford a lion. And a man walking on all fours as a lion would look ridiculous, and God forbid, they look ridiculous. And he comes, and they're just on the chariot, and she's just chatting away, just casually, like, "Oh yeah, I went to Sheffield Uni, I studied mechanical engineering. It's great. Yeah, I had a great time. What was your major?" And he's just like, "Well, I don't know." And then the bear comes up. And she immediately goes, "Ah!" And he immediately, without a second thought, jumps off and begins to brutally murder.
The bear wasn't doing anything. The bear did nothing. He just got attacked by this 6'4" muscle-bound
It was in his
Austrian
warpath.
machine.
It was in his warpath, and in the greatest scene ever. If you take it from like the female point of view, she met this man yesterday. He beat up her boyfriend, and now he is murdering a bear
with his bear.
And it's not just fighting
his bare hand.
He's murdering it.
And I think that was in The Simpsons. Actually, credit goes to The Simpsons.
Yeah. But he does, like, Arnie does punch it in the face, which just broke me. It broke me. He kicked the shit out of it. And then, like, it got to the point where it was going on for so long. Yeah, I felt bad for the actor and the bear. And then I was like, if I was on a date and a man was beating up and killing a bear in front of me, I would be like, it's so surreal. It's like, it's completely be separate. You'd be like, he's going to murder that thing.
Yeah, he's murdering that bear,
murdering it.
And the girl in the carriage is just sitting there yelling at him, beat him up. Like,
she's as confused as her father is, because she is just like beat him up. Oh god, this is terrifying. No, kill it, and then faint.
And it's
And
just
it's
falls
like,
into a swoon, doesn't she? And,
yeah.
that's it.
And then he starts
I
wrestling.
think the reason that Arnie had to be so hard in that bear was on the cage. It says European brown bear, but the police dispatcher radio it says grizzly bear. And grizzly bears are known to be dangerous and surly, but not the European bear because it's known to be dangerous and ditzy and often found rocking from side to side like Dustin Hoffman and Rain Man. So I think that Arnie just overheard that, took no chances. We can't quite believe it, but this is running into a 3-parter. So join us next time when we do part 3 of Hercules in New York and take it right to the end.
Allow me to break the ice.
Drop dead!
I don't do requests. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Crime laps with your 4 wins.
Enough talk.
Don't bullshit me.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.